most tested, the most durable, the most certified, the most believed in. You need to have this true piece of America ready in minutes.
Migrants are racing for the U.S. border. Right before Trump is taking office, there's an article that's up on the Drudge Report that talks about how illegals are coming to the U.S. border in lieu of a Trump victory taking office tomorrow, folks. Migrants that are trying to sneak into the U.S. on the last day of what they see because they realize that a wall is in fact coming. These challenges are nothing compared to a bigger fear they have that someday soon U.S. President-elect Donald Trump will build that wall and keep them out altogether. So before Trump takes office tomorrow, they're racing against time, riding a freight train up to the border to look for a way across. In the town, near a frontier, a group of Hondurans warn themselves near a fire of trash in the early morning cold. There's an article that YouTube has put up showing these migrants ready to jump the train in the event that it slows down. And I've got news for you folks, that wall is coming, but it looks like migrants are feeling the burn, literally, and racing for the border. I'm Margaret Hell reporting for Infowars.com.
Our fellow Infowars across the United States and across the planet really love the Hillary for President 2016 shirts that we began to put out in 2015. It became a global meme against globalism and corruption, and a very strong maxim that's now being continued on today. So we now have George Soros, because the media attacked me on this whole goblin meme. They've made huge jokes about it, but it's totally blown up in their face. We now have George Soros as a goblin on the back, and it says, with a cross through him, an X, no Soros, him as a goblin. It says, deport Soros on the bottom, and the top says, Infowars established in 1996. So it is a limited edition, deport Soros on the back, Hillary for President on the front, right-hand shoulder, Infowars.com. It's powerful. Hope you get out to everybody you know. Infowarsstore.com, or call 888-253-3139. Great error is to believe that as they collapse humanity, they end up on top. The truth is, humanity is coming down fast, but we're miles above them on our journey to hell.
You're listening to the Alex Jones Show.
We are right above Pennsylvania Avenue with Homeland Security helicopters flying by, looking at us. And then we've got the Washington Monument out there. I tell you, it's an incredible time to be alive. History's happening. Trump's for real. He's anti-New World Order. He was let in on the whole communist globalist plan back in the 60s. Everybody know that. But I think now is the time to even release that information. So people understand exactly why Trump has been a patriot sleeper cell. And I always said, what if we had people that went along with the system like the leftists have done, but were actually sleeper cells the other way around? And it turns out that that's exactly what Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is a Americana sleeper cell inside the New World Order takeover, and that is why they are truly scared. I love people going, oh, he's New World Order. He's been to parties with the Clintons. What do you expect when you go to these games? He had to play along with them. He did fight NAFTA. He did fight, he did some other good stuff. He's trying to get taxes cut for poor people. But he's hired record numbers of minorities and women. And it's put a lot of gay people in charge of...
But he's racist. And is he?
Well, I mean, I don't want to sit here and, pander to gay people, because I'm not against gay people. I don't hate them, none of that. But I shouldn't have to pander and grovel to prove I don't dislike gay people. It's just like Trump. They say he's a homophobe. And then, most of his casinos are run by gay guys. For whatever reason, Trump said, oh, they're my friends. They tend to want to work 20 hours a day and really care. So, for some reason, gay men are the best casino runners.
And they're snappy dressers.
The point is that I don't have to sit here and go, I have nothing against gay people. Some of my friends are gay. I haven't done anything wrong. I don't have to sit here and explain to you that I don't dislike you. If I said I disliked you, then you would know it. But the left goes, no, everyone that wants low taxes really hates black people.
Yeah.
And I'm so sick of my whole life hearing how I hate black people. And it's gone from making me feel guilty. I'm like a little kid hearing white people are bad from white people. And I'm like, I'm bad because I've got this color skin? Okay. And then the black people are hearing I'm bad because I'm white, so they beat me up. They've been turned into bad people. Them because ancestors and did something to them. Because yes, I'll say probably my ancestors probably did do something to black people. Most whites probably can't say that. But I mean, I've been here long enough in this country, my family, yeah, sure. But I mean, most white people had no connection to any of it. But I didn't do any of it. And my parents sure as hell didn't do any of it, or their grandparents. They were all Christian trying to make atonement for it. So how do people try to make atonement for something? How do we then become the bad guys?
And being like, what, 13% of the world's population? It's less than 7. Yeah. We control everything. We run everything. We do everything bad. We created this whole system with paved roads and open sewers and electricity. And for that, we have to be put in our place.
Well, I mean, let's give people the real history. The Chinese developed technologies just as advanced as we had 300 years ago. Their elites wrote books and said, we don't want the public having this. Yeah. We want to control people. The Japanese, great, smart people. Nobody argues they got some of the highest IQs. They did the same thing. Whites, Africans. The elite didn't want the public having they had the wheel. They didn't want to give it to the public. Right. Oh, the Mayans couldn't even have the wheel. No, they didn't want to give it to the public. So the point is that, yeah, we get systems of control. So can you say whites are more elite because they ended up developing the modern mathematics and space travel and, clocks and all that? No. You go back 600 years ago, all of Europe was under total siege. Most people had a very low, nobody could read, like maybe 1%. Yep. But it was on purpose. Yeah. The Dark Ages were admittedly installed by the royals and the church. And it made Europe so weak, they couldn't even defeat the Muslims. And because the Muslim threat got so bad, finally it allowed innovation, at least in weapons.
And they started educating.
So it was just to be able to fight the Muslims. Yeah. So dumbing people down made us worry about to follow the Muslims. So over a couple hundred years, it develops letting some guilds exist just to service the truth. Because the nobles finally went, okay, they just took Constantinople. Yeah. We gotta do something. This is a real history. So it forced them competition. See, there was no competition inside Europe. Everybody was slaves. Men were kept outside. Women were brought in, just like with blacks in America. It's the same. The Romans did the same deal, folks. But blacks were too valued, so they weren't actually kept outside. It was the whites were like cheap slaves, and the blacks were like the prize slaves. And a lot of blacks were actually freed. But see, they create this thing where blacks feel like they're this chip on the shoulder. You're nobody. You were slaves. Everybody was slaves. Now let's continue and expand out. And I'll go these clips. It's an important history lesson. For whatever reason, 500 years ago, people started to break out of it in Europe. They wanted freedom. And a renaissance started because people were so oppressed about getting into literature and getting into freedom, getting into math, and getting into science. And Europeans, because of their previous Ice Age brain, they've done genetic, epigenetic tests as well, do obsess more about shelter and designs and hunting and preparation. And the jokes are in Europe, the trains are all the time. There's an OCDness about in the Ice Age, if you didn't do stuff just right, you were dead. So selectively, whereas Africa might have been strength, stamina, whatever, or you died. There was plenty of that in the Ice Age, but if you didn't plan stuff out just right, you were dead. If you tried to get home 20 minutes late from a hunting trip, you'd freeze to death because it was going to go 50 below zero like that. So there is that planning in the Western brain. See, that also gives the Western brain over to evil. Because if it gets captured by corruption, then it starts scheming in like fifth dimensional chess. You understand? Mm-hmm. So that's why it takes good Westerners who are into freedom to counter Western evil. So yes, you can say the West is evil. Let's show the helicopter, brother. Right at the one, it flew right by the obelisk. Anyways, I'm ranting. I'm sorry. I apologize for history lessons. We've got a lot of clips. You want to comment on any of that?
Well, I think you're right. It is geographically, people do different things for different areas. And if you're living up north, you do have to plant your crops on time. You have to watch the weather. And then when you're down in sub-Saharan Africa or South America,
you gotta burrow.
It's a different type. You have to be ready for a predator to come out after you. You have to be able to defend yourself. And you have to be able to be fast and cover long distances. So all that makes sense. And then you see the way it is now. And when you talk about elites, there's good elites and there's bad elites. There's a predator class within the elites, and then within the middle class also that kind of worms their way up. That serves right, and then they want to serve that big predator head classes, the little flying monkeys.
The elite class should be empowering everybody to bring them up.
Yeah, no, they should be, because then our society is going to get better.
Infowars. I mean, I literally could envision 20 plus years ago much of it. and like 90% of I envisioned, but I pictured other people rising up who were better than me because I wasn't arrogant. But when I struck the alarm bell as Paul Revere, I thought it would get other people to rise up and take action, which it did. It just took longer. But again, there's that long-term planning, that patience. Patience is key to anything big.
Sure,
20 years. It's like you
strike
push the pebble down the hill, and 20 years later, it's a giant boulder going, fake news, you're fake news, and just running over people.
And let's be clear,
destroying.
Right before me, the same Pebble Drudge Report.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other pebbles. So, but it was all the same.
It all kind of happened at the same time too. Drudge started about the same time you did on the
it's
air.
like radio got invented by 3 guys the same week.
Yeah.
And it's just knowledge builds like the 100th monkey to this, I mean, Drudge kind of comes in like like he was like a senior and I was like a junior in the same, but was in the same school, kind of the same class.
Right.
He was a little bit before me, but it was all the same wave. And then Trump's the big mega wave you see sweeping. And here's the problem. If the globalists try to block this one, I almost hope they try to block this wave because they might be able to halfway do it. That summons the King Kong. I mean, if they block this, King Kong coming. And it'll almost be so free market, it's cultish. I mean, I mean, I'm really worried about, helicopter by the monolith.
I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to these next 4 years.
King Kong needs to climb that.
And I hope we get.
We need to make a new King Kong movie where he attacks Washington. He climbs the Washington Monument. That'd be badass. It's got Trump's head on it. That's it. He's King Kong attacking Washington. I'm ranting. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, just the fact of what's been going on the last 20 years and seeing it finally change, seeing finally the sea change go. People are just sick and tired of it. They're fed up with it. They're sick and tired of being called racist because they want freedom. They're sick and tired of not kowtowing to every little minority that has a grievance. It's like everybody's got a grievance about something. Why don't you put your head in the game and start making something happen positively instead of just worrying about why you're not getting yours? The reason you're not getting yours is because you're sitting out there complaining that you're not getting yours instead of doing something. That's the big reason.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem in America, if you actually try to get yours, you're going to get so much, your kids are going to turn a deck of slots.
That will be true. And, I have that problem with my kids. They have so much. I'm like, you kids are spoiled. We take you out on trips. We do things with you. We let you have stuff.
I do so love dealing with money.
You need to
learn they artificially see some Kim Kardashian show that is a prison of crap. Who wants a closet with 200 purses? And extra rooms for your dog crap stuff. And it's like, I had a 5-bedroom house for a while, and I downsized to like 4 or 3. Because, I mean, I say 4 because one of them's a study, it's a little bitty room. But, I mean, it's like, it's a hassle.
Yeah.
And then who wants to be around rich neighbors? Like, I know a lot of minorities think that white people are all racist and don't like you. Let me explain something. You move into a wealthy neighborhood, and I moved into just middle-class ones. They're all a-holes to each other and hate everybody. I don't care if you got blonde hair and blue eyes, man. They're all just mean to each other because it's like Washington. All they've got is this weird class thing.
Yep.
And again, real rich people are cool. It's all these fake wannabes that are like so obsessed with my Mercedes and I'm cool. And it's not that a Mercedes is bad. It's like they want to think they're better than you. It's like a cult. What would you call it?
It is this weird arrogance, but it's like a powerless arrogance because they have that arrogance because they really don't have any power.
Exactly. And they always want petty power. Like, what is that truck doing parked on the street? And I'm like, that violates the homeowner's rules. And I'm like, well, the homeowner rule actually says that be parked. That's not my truck. That's working on the other neighbor's backyard. They're just like, I lived in the country for a while. Then I moved back in a little bit closer. And I hadn't been in a place with the homeowners association. And it is just a freaking nightmare.
I had to deal with it too, over a trash can. They don't like my trash can on the side of the house. I'm like, sorry, it's going to stay there.
Oh, same thing.
I'm not putting it in my garage.
I've been written up for it on the side of the house. The damn thing stinks.
Yeah, I'm not putting it in my garage. Like, you can put it in your garage.
Then it makes your car smell like rotten.
Exactly. No, it's going to stay on the outside by there. Oh, by the way, your construction crews have garbage everywhere, and everybody else is breaking every other rule, but you're going to single me out? No, not
And the only answer is to start writing everybody up.
Yeah. They
put a sign up saying no parking. And then if anybody parks outside my house, the tow trucks come, then everybody else is allowed to have their cars. And I'm like, I've got to start calling.
Oh, yeah, the tow truck.
And so I get back next week, I'm just going to call tow trucks every day.
Yep.
And the thing is, then they'll grovel. It's like as soon as you use force against them, they back off.
Right.
But I have to crush them first.
Well, it's that weak petty power that they think they have, and they have none.
Or they think I'm dumb and they control the tow truck company. It doesn't just have to be the number listed. Under law, you post that, I'm going to call another tow truck. See, they think I'm dumb like everybody else. I'm not.
And guess what?
I will defeat you just like I defeated the globalists. But it's the same deal. We'll defeat every level, dude.
Yeah. And we've been doing it. We're not going to get tired doing it. Isn't it exciting? Whether it's Hillary Clinton or a homeowners association, move, bitch, get out the way. Exactly. Or even a small local government, a local government that comes after you and tries to put these regulations in to not let people build or let people develop their own land. That's the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing. And I think you're going to see now that we get Trump into office, we settle in first 100 days, you're going to see Infowars take on this whole new thing, going into more health stories that we've kind of let by the wayside during covering a lot of this Trump stuff.
We're also
a lot of information.
We're going to keep, not Trump honest.
What's our next move?
But trying to surveil the minions.
If it'll help us
like
get
this one for education
quicker.
is the only bad one because she was for Common Core.
Right.
But she's also for school choice, so Trump got told to like her. He doesn't know all that stuff. Who could? She gets up there in front of the thing and goes, oh, I agree to saying women grab me. They want me. I can grab them. That's saying a woman's on you. Of course they want. It's not like saying they're not, like the left is, if a woman's like kissing you and you touch her, you're raping her. No, that's called what mammals do. She goes, yes, I agree. That's sexual assault. Boom, get out of there. Yeah. Then she tries to go over and shake Elizabeth Warren's hand, and she won't even do it.
What's
she
our
went
next
and
move?
groveled to
If it'll help us get
Trump under the
moving
bus,
quicker.
and then,
Yeah. Watching these hearings, like Marco Rubio.
They said that famous World War II deal of the sailor getting off the boat.
Oh, kissing the girl, that's sexual assault.
Because his hand is on her hip.
Yeah.
Right
a
behind
woman
you.
jumps on you and starts kissing you, and it's your wife or girlfriend you haven't seen in 2 years. I mean, she's gonna get mad you're not grabbing her hip.
Well, they interviewed.
That's what you're supposed to do. You grab them right here in the back of their neck. You grab their butt. That's what women want. It's what mammals do.
Right.
They're taking our normal behavior and saying it's illegal, but then teaching your 5-year-old how to be a tranny and give blowjobs is okay.
or get a sex change. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're now trying to tell 12-year-olds out in California, you can have your stuff cut off if you want outside your parents. So the government cutting your kid's weenie, that's okay. But I'm not supposed to, if my wife leans into me and I kiss her, this is crazy.
Yeah. And they interviewed the two people that 50 years after that famous photo that you're talking about.
The rape photo?
They didn't even know each other, but they were so happy that the war was over. They both came to each other and embraced it.
Well, sure, I know what the wife and the girlfriend. That's why they were calling it the assault, because no, they hate that.
Know each other.
Well, they hate that magnetism. She's good looking, he's good looking. Wow, let's get it. Let's have a party, man.
People were happy
that
we ended World War II. That's what they were happy about. I mean, this was a huge war.
That was a sexual assault.
Yeah.
Oh, helicopter by the obelisk. I'm obsessed with that shot. Man, the cinematography we're getting out here.
It is really good. It's amazing. Even the tunnels where they have their the tunnels for the subways. They have these cool looking catacomb-looking patchwork, or I guess a beehive. It's like a beehive underneath the ground. It's really amazing. So, but you walk around at night and you see, how that government has everything secure for them. They're so
But we can't
worried.
have that.
Oh, it really pisses me off.
You left the borders open, all this crap. You probably have to do this now. Don't take our right to have a gun or lock our door, you assholes. Excuse me, I apologize. We're going to go to break. I haven't played clips. I've been back. Can we play the CNN COG kill switch situation one more time? And then we're going to go to break, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to play Owen Schroyer's report ahead of Roger Stone and Owen Schroyer joining us. And our reporters are getting in place right now, so stay with us. But let's go out to break with this clip. Here it is.
Inauguration, you have two lines of succession. One for the Barack Obama administration, which is still in place, and one which really won't be in place until Donald Trump is inaugurated, comes into office, and actually formally nominates, and the Senate confirms his people. You might actually end up with a president from the prior administration because of a tragedy.
Adding to the confusion, by noon Friday, all of Obama's cabinet secretaries are expected to resign. John Kerry, the current Secretary of State, would be the first cabinet secretary in the line of succession, but he's out of office by noon. Donald Trump's pick for Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, may not be confirmed for another week or two. So who would be Secretary of State on Friday afternoon? According to State Department sources, the job would fall to the highest-ranking non-political official in the department, the Undersecretary for Political Affairs, Tom Shannon.
One of the most obscure possibilities is that someone who is an acting Secretary of State, someone lower down the line of the Secretary of State, State Department today, assumes the acting Secretary of State position, is in the line, and the worst happens, and that person becomes president, at least for a while.
Don't forget to check inside the shop.
The potential for chaos, high theater, or a hit TV drama.
Sir, you are now the President of the United States.
In ABC's Designated Survivor.
All right, folks, we're going to be back. Stay with us on the other side. And Nico just popped in my ear, which I told him to do. So you're a little news light, boss. I know you're excited. Let's get to some news. I agree. We're going to hit some news and a lot more straight ahead.
Mark Morano, producer of Climate Hustle and publisher of Climate Depot. Thank you for joining us, Mark.
Thank you, David. Happy to be here. And yes, you're completely accurate about the EPA, and even worse than what you're describing, like about the Chrysler, attacks by the EPA and their alleged emissions violations. The Republican Congress a few years back, even under George Bush, they have statutorily killed the SUV in America unless Donald Trump's administration and the new Congress tries to change it. And what I mean by that is, you mentioned the corporate average fuel economy standards. They're trying to merge those or bring them in line with what vehicles have been, which means we're talking about Ford F-150 pickups, Jeeps, everything else having to move to aluminum, much lighter weight, the shrinking, the downsizing.
Yes.
And so that's one of the other things they're doing, aside from hassling them with these emission alleged violations. They're now coming after them for their weight,
What's
size,
our next move?
materials that they're made out of.
If it'll
it's a
help
way of
us get
essentially
moving quicker.
re-engineering
Sure.
American society in the face of global warming. And they're doing this from everything from our light bulb to our appliances. Consumer Reports even says that high-end washing machines don't perform as well as low-end washing machines of 15 years ago, brand new ones, because of all the energy department, Energy Star, sucking all the available power out of these machines. So they're forced to make them lighter, lightweight, lighter duty. It just goes on, and it goes all the way up to our population, whether we can eat beef, our transportation, carbon taxes. So Donald Trump is probably the greatest threat to this agenda that's occurred in the history of the entire, modern environmental movement since 1970. And here's what I never understood about the Never Trumpers who allege to be conservatives. If you get all the previous Republican nominees since Reagan, you have George H.W. Bush, who was an absolute disaster when it came to climate change issues in the United Nations and environmentalism. You have John McCain, who was nominated in 2008, and he was actually a sponsor of these climate bills. You have George W. Bush, who rubber-stamped every UN report, kept the funding coming, and literally accepted all the science and never said a skeptical word out of his mouth. So George W. Bush did that. Then you had Mitt Romney, who had many of Obama's advisors working for him. So when it comes to Donald Trump, particularly on environment and climate, he is the greatest breath of fresh air of any Republican nominee that you could even conceive of.
He's the only one who is not in league with both the Republican and the Democrat establishment, as you just ran down that list. So they know how to get their people in on both the Republican and the Democrat ticket. And this time, Donald Trump broke through that to try to break this lock on power that both the Democrat and Republican establishment have had.
It's the end of time, and the Mississippi
Heard they're
River,
reforming the
she's a
Dawn
gold
Guard.
bride.
Vampire hunters.
I live back in the woods, Steve.
The interest is up and the stock market's
Got
down.
some good pieces out here if you're looking to buy. More inside.
Some of the stories up on Infowars.com.
I don't claim to be the best blacksmith in White Run. Orland Raymond.
Trump viewed favorably by more than half of the U.S. voters. We
All
know
I
there
ask
were
is a
fake
fair
polls during the election. It's hard to get major polling companies to actually do an honest poll for you. It's just the demographics they use, who they target. They have a huge agenda that's known. But Trump and others were able to do internal polls, and other major demographic polling agencies and some of the internet aggregate numbers we have show that Trump's actually very popular with Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans compared to other Republican candidates and other Republican figures. That's why I got 35% of the vote from Hispanics. They claim he only got 10% from blacks, but we know they stole the election in many black areas. Evidence of that came out. Because I've had so many black people shake my hand and say they want Trump and they want prosperity, and they don't like how Obama ignored them for all those years. That's why the media knows their hold on people is falling apart. So they're intensifying a major push for racial division in this country. Let's show part of a report that's up on Infowars.com from Owen Schroyer showing the buses being brought in last night with the protesters, but they've already had to scale back.
Looks like a group of young millennials who are going to be protesting tomorrow. They're arriving by bus. Oh yeah.
What's our next move?
What?
If it'll help us get moving quicker.
It's cold out here, man.
It'll be weak. Alright. Putting them on buses and it looks like it's ducks. There's the bus line right there. It's loading them up. It's gonna take them to some housing and then they're gonna start depositing them around.
Right behind it.
On Inauguration Day. Roger reporting for Infowars.com.
Okay, now for radio listeners, we actually have video of the buses. For radio listeners, we have the video. It's on Infowars.com. There's a longer report coming up in the next segment. That's Owen Schroyer reporting. That was Rob Duke. By the way, I'm here looking at Infowars.com right now, and I'm looking at Belgian aristocratic pedophile ring exposed. Boys and girls tortured, killed, and forced to eat feces. So they don't just grab your kid out of the backyard and rape them for a couple months. They torture them and they make them eat crap and they kill them after they beg for food. And reportedly in Belgium, where this came out a few years ago, more's come out, they sit in the room while the toddler cries for mommy, like a beautiful satanic music, and while they beg and beg and beg, and sometimes they'll feed them a little more just to get their strength back up to beg and get hope. And they call it sucking them dry. It's vampiric. It sucks their soul. And that's who's in D.C. That's who Trump's kicking out. Why Trump wants to stop the vaccines. He knows that's a soft kill, a lesser magic attack on your family. And I know this is hard to believe, folks, but there's a new article out that deals with, Meryl
Your
Streep
dad visitor
defending
been poking around.
Roman Polanski that, drugs
I'm the innkeeper.
13-year-old
It's
girls.
my business to keep
anally
track of
rapes them.
strangers.
And that's just what he's been caught doing.
Attic room, eh?
They want, the globalists want to grab
we don't
your
have an
kids.
attic room.
And this is on record.
You can
and they
have
want
the
to
one
rape
on the
them
left.
for a few months and then make them eat
home.
crap before they drink their blood. Now, I know that sounds insane. I'm not the insane one. That's what they're into. That's what they do. People ask, why don't you cover this more? I've been covering the satanic pedophile networks for 20-something years. And they're just on such power trips that they've been let into this thing by the devil. And they're on this, crusade against love and light and goodness. It's sick.
So you're the dragon.
Just because they've done these horrible things
I think
in
you're
these
looking for
clubs
this.
doesn't give them power.
We need to talk.
But they believe because they do
Not
these
here.
unholy
Follow me.
things, they are special. They are great. Yeah, they're great piles of crap. I mean, you make little kids you've tortured eat crap, God is going to torture you for 1 trillion years.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
We have the new product at InfoWarsLife.com, BioTrue Selenium.
We've had so many requests over the years for selenium, and just recently we were able to source a certified organic, bioavailable selenium from mustard seed extract. When you take selenium in the body, it actually benefits the detoxification systems in your body. It helps balance the thyroid gland. It helps detoxify.
Selenium is another one of those absolute must-haves.
The highest concentration of selenium is in the thyroid gland, but it's actually used all over the body. As a matter of fact, there's 25 genes in the body that are directly dependent upon selenium. So it really is a all-around nutrient that everybody really needs.
I'm taking it now every day. This is so key. BioTrue Selenium is the product, the best selenium that we could bring you. We believe it's the best out there at a very, very low price. Exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order, it's Alex Jones. From the front lines of the information war, it's Alex Jones.
The Graybeards seem to think you're the Dragon Lord.
The devil is a master of deception. The modern system says that if a man embraces a woman who's attracted to him and kisses her, it's
I
sexual
hope so,
assault.
but you'll forgive me if I don't. I just handed you the horn of Jurgen
Isn't
Windcaller.
pedophilia in the public
Does that
schools?
make me Dragon
In a Daily
Lord
Mail
too?
article about Belgian aristocrat pedophile ring exposed, boys and girls
I didn't go to
tortured,
all this
killed,
trouble on a whim.
and forced to eat
I
feces.
am not your enemy.
This is
I
part of a
already gave you
long-term
the
satanic
horn.
ritual
I'm actually trying
that's
to help
carried
you.
out over and over
Just
again. They've
need you,
made films
like I
about
said
it.
in my note. I've heard
People
that you
then
might
think
be
it's
drunk.
Hollywood
I'm part of a
movies.
group that's been looking for you.
In
Well,
history of the
someone
word,
like you.
I guess
or a
Satanism
bit-
does go back.
If you really
People
are
wrote about this
Dragonborn, that is.
type of thing, but this is all
Before
a
I tell you
ritual.
any more,
I've read about it going
I
on
need to make
thousands
sure
of years.
I can trust you.
Didn't even know that.
I knew
it
the
even
Greybeards
codified
would
it
send
into
you
modern
there
times
if they
that it was
thought you were
going on
Dragonborn.
until
When you
more of
showed up
this came
here,
out.
I knew you were the one the Greybeards sent, and not some Thalmor plant.
By defiling the innocents, they
Yes.
believe they move themselves
We're very old
closer
enemies.
to evil. And they kind of
And
tell
if
you
my-
this in
but that isn't
Revenge
important right now. What is important is that you might
of
be
the Sith.
Dragonborn.
This episode
I
3
knew
of
the
Star
Grey.
Wars, where
When you
Darth
showed
Vader
up
isn't
here,
really
I
evil
knew you
yet.
were the one the Greybeard.
Remember
We
Palpatine
remember
goes,
what most don't.
"You must
that
go and
you're the
kill
only
all the
one that can
younglings,
kill a
hundreds of
dragon
children at the Jedi
Can you
Temple.
do it? Can
Only
you
Sith
devour
will
a
be
dragon's
strong enough
soul?
for the dark
Good.
side.
And you'll have
That's
a chance
exactly
to prove
what
it
they
to
do.
me
They
soon
do
enough.
these horrible things to defile
If you don't trust me,
themselves,
you were a
believing
fool
they're
to walk
burning
in
away
here
their
in the first
humanity to
place.
become stronger. Let's go to a few minutes of
I
Owen
knew the
Schroyer's report
Greybeard.
from the
When
ground
you
with the
showed up
protesters
here,
last
I
night.
knew you
We're
were
going
the
to come
one.
back to Owen Schroyer
I
on
knew
the
the
ground.
When you showed up here, I
600
knew you
yards
were the
from
one.
me, where
Dragons
the
aren't
president
just
is going to
coming
be
back. They
inaugurated
weren't gone somewhere for
tomorrow.
all these years.
Let's go to
They
that
were
report.
dead. Killed. Now something's happening to bring them back to life, and I need
It's
you to
Wednesday
help me
night
stop
in
it.
Washington, D.C.
I
Owen
know they
Schroyer
are.
here, the Infowars crew
And I
has
figured
just
out where the
arrived.
next
We're
one will
checking
come
into
back.
our place.
We're going to go there, and you're going to
And we
kill that
already have
dragon.
protests. Here we
If
go.
we succeed, I'll tell you anything you want.
This should be good.
I know they are. And I figured out where we're going to go there, and you're going to kill that dragon. If we succeed, you should know. The Dragonstone was a map of ancient. It seems to be spreading from the southeast, down in the Geralds near Rift. The one at Times Grove. There's an ancient dragon burial near there. If we can get there before... I can't wait around for you to make up your mind. I'll meet you at Times Grove. Don't waste time getting there.
Why is Donald Trump fascist? Do you know what fascism
That's
is?
better. Let's get on the road to Times Grove.
Excuse me, sir. Can I ask you a couple questions? What has Donald Trump done that's fascist? What has Donald Trump done? Well, can you tell me? I don't need your flyer. Why don't you tell me?
That's why you don't know.
Well, that's why I'm following around. Now you just littered. He just littered. So he's a litterer. So that's nice. Can you answer a question? How is Trump fascist, sir? See, here's my
You
problem.
just find
All you
that lying
protesters never
around?
answer a question.
Must be your lucky day.
And you just say F Trump. Are you doing?
My favorite
So there you go,
drinking
folks.
buddy.
This is the
Let's
first
get some
protest. You know, there's probably about 200 of them. This is a peaceful protest. I'll give him that.
It's just like a group of young millennials who are going to be protesting tomorrow. They're arriving by bus. Oh yeah. Hey, you wanna get this? What? Why'd you have that on?
Huh? It's cold out here, man.
Yeah. Don't be weak. Alright. They're putting them on buses and it looks like it's ducks. There's the bus line right there. It's loading them up. Gonna take them to some housing and then they're gonna start depositing them around on Inauguration Day. Roger reporting for Infowars.com. At Reagan National Airport.
All right, my friends, we are going to go to break here in just a moment. Again, I'm Alex Jones, your host. Infowars.com is the news site. I know all of you know that. I take it for granted, too. I sit here and hardly promote my own website on air or the incredible stories that are there. But it's bigger than the New York Times online. It's bigger than the Washington Post online. The enemy knows that. They are so pissed. They are so angry. Roger Stone is coming up right now, I'm told. Owen Schroyer is set to pop in with us in the next segment. But all this and more is coming up today. I'm Alex Jones, and we are here for the 45th president to be inaugurated tomorrow. Stay with us.
Oh, you talk, you lie, and you drink from me. Now I
James
think it's
O'Keefe,
high
of
time
course,
that
as you
you
know,
lie
is
down
president
and
of Project
bleed.
Veritas. He's well known for his
Serpentine
2009
flashing
Acorn investigation, the systematic corruption that he
Steel as the
discovered
brave
and
last
showed in
Matilda
multiple
charged in
offices
full of
that
zeal.
ultimately forced that group to disband. Tell us a little bit about part one that we saw yesterday. Of course, what they were talking about doing was releasing butyric acid in the chlorball, and that is the thing that gives human vomit its smell. So it's a very disgusting, intolerable smell. It makes people sick. They want to do that. But In concentration, it is an acid, and so it'll burn your skin, it'll burn your lungs. That's a very dangerous thing. That's a criminal conspiracy, isn't it, James?
Yeah, it's actually covered under the D.C. anti-terrorism statutes. And it's not just a prank. This acid it's a flammable material. It could burn your lungs. It could cause a stampede out of the National Press Club, people trampling one another. It's considered terrorism. And we took the footage to the FBI. They had the video. They had these people's names and numbers. They had their last names. When we took this footage to them, they thanked us and said they were going to be launching an investigation. And they also said they wanted to set off the sprinkler systems and get people wet. It's going to be cold outside. They want to do as much harm physically to people as possible.
You know, people have a right to exercise their free speech. And I think that the protests, in terms of standing there with a sign, talking about something, I think we're actually too restrictive on that in the U.S. because you look at these political conventions, what they do is they have protesters at both the political conventions. They put them far away from where the political convention is. In most cases, the last several elections, they put them in cages. You have to have a permit ahead of time. But what we're not talking about that kind of free speech here. We're talking about people who are being paid to agitate, and we have seen this in the run-up to the election, that they get violent with people, that they instigate violence. And then, of course, that violence is blamed on Donald Trump or on Trump supporters and not on the people who go there as paid agitators. And they're trying to do something that is very dangerous to people. It ought to be a crime.
Yeah, it is a crime. It's considered under the anti-terrorism statute. You have the statute up in front of you there, but it's punishable by a 5-year prison sentence and significant fine. They're also going to try to shut down the railroads. Wow. They're going to try to disrupt public transportation. And by the way, it's kind of ironic that the anti-fascists are planning on gassing people. I mean, I hate to make a joke, but in the HVAC system, it's just bizarre.
Their narrative is to pretend that there's going to be some kind of spontaneous conflict. And this, who started it? Did that side start it? Did the other side start it? If you show that they've been premeditating this type of activity, then that kind of destroys their whole narrative that, oh, it was the Trump supporters who started this when we were just there innocently standing by.
This is an ode to Skyrim.
It's Alex Jones coming to you live from the front lines of the Infowars.
Gone. The age of aggression is just about done.
All right, we've got some of the crew coming back in. Roger Stone reportedly is getting here, about to be up here in the building. We've got Owen Schroyer. We're about to go to live, about 600 yards away, right in front of the Capitol. We're trying to be inaugurated tomorrow.
If I had to settle
Before I go any further,
this
I didn't plug last hour. I did a lavish plug first hour. The first hour is over. Second hour is over. I didn't plug the second hour. That's how we support the broadcast. That's how we pay for the crew on the ground. We pay for the security. It's how we get you the news, the information, the intel. It's how we catch the Soros people committing crimes. It's how we get the whistleblowers on. It's how we blow up the New World Order. We stand up, we fight, we take action, we have victories. And to do that, we also bring you products that are game changers. We are launching today, exclusively available to only InfoWarsStore.com visitors, Combat One. That is a revolutionary, disinfected, totally healthy, totally safe, 12 years developed by the Defense Department with a private company, now exclusively available only to InfoWars Store visitors. In a few months, 4 months, it's going to start hitting big stores, Dick's and others. The point is, you're getting it exclusively first. After 12 years of development, InfoWars launches Combat One skin protecting wipes. They've got creams, they've got sprays, they've got hand washes. And what's incredible is it's very, very low price, but you buy it in bulk. InfoWars launches Combat One skin protecting wipes, previously only available to DoD, military-grade hygiene technology used by special operations. Amazing pre-preparedness and survival product. Just like we've got only to InfoWars listeners. The nanotube nanotech product only used by law enforcement military. It's cheaper than the big steel plates and works better. I mean, you can't make that up. InfoWarsStore.com. You can't make up a lot of stuff we're up to. It's fun. be on the zeitgeist, didn't it? We're humble and we appreciate it. We just want to go to the next level and defeat the tyrants with prosperity and freedom for everybody. Infowars Select Squirrable Foods, already the lowest prices, made in America. They don't let me do the special very often because it undercuts their other distributors. They finally have capitulated, so I can do it more often, every few months instead of once a year. And also, they get behind when we do these sales. They want to ship like same day you order or the day after. This is freshly packed. Last 25 years, it's the entire My Patriot Supply line. It's all available, 30 to 40% off. We're only running it until next week.
My analysis is
Infowarsstore.com.
There's an ancient dragon
barrier
near
Things are getting better.
If we can get there before it happens, maybe we'll learn how to stop
you
it.
can eat, so you basically can't fail.
We've got to get to
lose when it comes down to it. 30 to 40% off. And we're having to end it this Sunday. I've extended the Christmas specials and called it the Make America Healthy Again special. And I've got to stop it. A lot of stuff sold out. Some things have come back in, like Super Mail and DNA Force. It's 10% off. Super Mail, 30% off. A bunch of other products, 30% off. It ends this Sunday. It's the inauguration special, and it'll be 4 months at least until I do 30% off on any of these products. That's just an algorithm we've got. It's how we work it. We can't do it. It's already discounted. This special isn't coming around until the second quarter of this year, or maybe later. So take advantage of it right now. Make our bodies great again. The inauguration special, Brain Force, 30% off, 20% each bottle. Super Mail, 30%. Secret 12, 20%. Liver Shield, 20%. Survival Shield, 30%. Knockout, 20%. Prostate Guard, 20%. It all ends.
I'm glad that I'm finally traveling.
Infowarsstore.com, InfowarsSelect.com takes you right to the front page. That's Squirrable Foods. Or we can always answer your questions and tell you about other specials we've got. There's too many to list here on air. 888-253-3139. Now, I haven't gotten Trump actually saying he's going to do 200 executive orders the next week, 5 tomorrow. I haven't gotten to our report on stones being poisoned that we should air next hour. But by the way, I love Anthony Cumey. I asked him to host the show twice a month, and he did it graciously. Big syndicated host, but today's super hot. We heard from Anthony yet whether he wants us to co-host within the next hour? Negative. I mean, I'm sure he always invites me on. He probably will, but if Stone's getting here late with all these checkpoints, they now, just as we got here this morning, block the road. If he doesn't get in, I'm sure Anthony's going to want him on. I'll let him run the show, but we can kind of split the show, too, and just do a Facebook mentions in here, I guess. So I've been hearing he's going to be here for an hour. We'll see what happens. But right now, I know who is here. The great Owen Schroyer. In D.C. since yesterday, he's witnessed a lot more than we have, just because he was at the right place at the right time. He's right there where Trump's going to get inaugurated tomorrow. First off, before your observations, what do you make of CNN and a bunch of other publications saying Trump might get killed tomorrow? A truck bomb, a nuke, a drone attack, and it's quite normal. It's no big deal. President Obama will appoint a new president, and then Homeland Security federalize the elections, so they'll decide in the new election who's president. I mean, this is all... Everything I kind of saw in my, thinking about this, and Hugh called it the Odin sleep, and now we're watching all this unfold. So, question is my spidey sense wrong, or is this bad? I don't think they're going to pull it. In fact, I feel very confident that they've capitulated, and they're kind of running an old program in case they wanted to do it. They're kind of like they want to pay for advertisements that are still airing after the restaurant closed. It's kind of like $1 short, a day late, and a day late, $1 short. I think they're failing. I think they're reorganizing. I think they're under our control at this moment. But I'm feeling good, and I see a lot of evidence that good things are happening, and they're really panicking and look butthurt. And there's photos on Drudge of them, the final days, like they're entitled to rule everything. But I don't know.
Hello there, fellow travelers.
They're setting the table for COG overthrow of Trump. They're sure selling they want impeachment. They claim every thought he gets is from Putin.
My common man,
so, Owen Schroyer, what do you think about that?
Why should only the court?
Well, this is the normalization tactic, the psychological conditioning tactic that they push these narratives out there, and then if it ends up coming true, it's already normalized. The people have already capitulated. They don't want to make a big deal out of it. So that's what I think CNN is trying to do here, talking about possible assassination attempts, talking about possible Obama appointing a different president. And they've done it over and over. They did it with the Electoral College. They did it the entire election with the polls, and they failed at every step of the way. So my guess is they're going to fail again, Alex. I think that they're setting themselves up for failure. I think that you might be right, and they have accepted that they've lost this battle, and maybe now they're thinking bigger again towards the war. What will they pull next? They can't stop Trump from being inaugurated. But it's funny, you talk about CNN, and if Zimmerman wants to show this, he doesn't have to, but CNN is actually on top of a building. They've set up their stage on top of a building, and we know why. Because we had people, info warriors like you, get behind their set, troll them, put Bill Clinton as a rapist or so they had to go up and hide on a roof. So that's what CNN.
That's right. We've run them into a fortress mentality, which is the first stage of winning.
But from my experience out here, Alex, I will say this: Trumpians have taken over D.C. The leftists, the protesters, they want to run with all this social media trends like Occupy DC, Occupy Inauguration. I've got bad news for you. We are the ones occupying. I'm surrounded by thousands of Trump supporters right now. I walk around Capitol Hill, and people are chanting right now. Listen to this. This is crazy. I walk around Capitol Hill.
Bring some of them in, Owen. Bring some of them in.
Do we have any info warriors that want to give a shout out to Alex Jones? Come here. He wants to hear from you. Look at this. Hey, Alex Jones wants to know why you're out here.
I'm out here because I love Trump, and I think he's going to make America great again.
You know, the protesters are saying that they're going to occupy D.C. All I've seen is Trump supporters out here.
Absolutely. I've not seen nor have I heard any protesters out here, just tons of Trump supporters.
So I think, Alex, and I don't know if anyone's seen it, me and Millie did a video. I think they're setting themselves up for failure here. I think they're inflating these numbers of hundreds of thousands of protesters. I don't think so. We've seen busloads come in. They might get a couple thousand, maybe tens of thousands. No way hundreds of thousands. Look at all these people recording us. Let me tell you something. Nobody cares about any other media organization that comes out here, okay? There are all kinds of media people that come out here. They've got their cameras set up. They've got their microphones. Nobody goes up to them and shakes their hand. Nobody says, hey, I love what you do. That happens to us because we relate to these people. We talk to people on the street, and we're Americans like these people. We elected Donald Trump because we want to make America great again.
Exactly, and why is it dirty to say make America great again?
People agree with that.
Under globalism, you're not supposed to be great. You're supposed to just fail and let the government rule your life. Again, the things people say is Trump real. What he's saying and doing is real. These ideas are cancer to the New World Order. They're victory to us. Of course he's real. He wouldn't be invoking this. It's like sunlight to vampires. Trump's 100% real, man. That is why his only issue is he's a strong man. And he believes because he's a good guy and he's not going to be a hypocrite, he's going to take the gloves off. And I agree with that to a certain extent with enemies. I'm just saying, once the enemies are vanquished, the gloves have to go back on.
Well, and you saw the video that I shot last night. As soon as we got here, of those protesters, they have nothing to say, Alex. They have nothing to say. It's the same argument that they've been saying for 2 years.
Racist, homophobe, Russian agent.
Yeah, and I say, how is he a racist? Nothing. How is he a fascist? Nothing. How does he hate immigrants? Nothing. They cite fake news. And you can see it. What I've noticed now is they have these handlers. So I'll be talking to somebody in these protest groups who's just a regular citizen. Perhaps they've been brainwashed, they've been victimized by the fake news, and they're actually having a conversation with me, and we're talking, and all of a sudden, I start to defeat their false narratives.
Oh, it's always that way with because there's no word. They're paid to be there. They might actually start listening to you.
But I think that's what's happening, and they have like these adult handlers or something. They come, they grab them, they run them away before they can have a conversation with us. Most people won't even talk to me, but the ones that do, you can tell they're just regular people. They really think that Trump's a racist. They've been tricked, but when they have a conversation, I was talking to some other people, a lot of these people that are out here protesting Trump or that voted Clinton, they've never met an actual Trump supporter. They've never talked to somebody that supported Trump.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they hate the fact that blacks and Hispanics at record numbers are going to Trump rallies. That's why I think the president, once he's president in office, should continue rallies every few weeks or every few months, is just to bring everybody together and call for everyone of every race, color, and creed to come together to say, see, they don't want this. They said the Tea Party was racist. This isn't true. We're all together. I'm telling you, he has to do unity rallies. I'm going to tell him that next time I talk to him. But he's already planning it all. What's crazy is you talk to Trump, it's like mind meld. He's already on the same plane. It's like the same frequency.
Make it worth our time.
We have a name for it in
We're
the
all
office.
powered by the Force, Alex. Make America great again.
Yeah. Oh, and we're going to come right. Yeah. We're going to come back to you. Let's get that crowd. Everyone knows that Infowars, the funds our operation by selling high-quality products that we use and that everybody needs at very competitive, affordable prices. And so I get questions all the time over the years. Why don't you sell body armor at InfoWarsStore.com? Or why don't you have sponsors that sell body armor? And it's simple. I will only promote and I will only sell the very, very best out there. And that's the next point. There's quality versus price, and those 2 points have to come together. National Defense Labs and its civilian subsidiary, Citizen Armor, has given InfoWars the exclusive on distributing to the American people the true next generation in body armor. People are always saying, it's the 21st century. Where are the silver jetpacks? And where's Buck Rogers and the Sky Cars? Well, the globalists have basically suppressed a lot of those developments. They admit they want a post-industrial world. They call any technology that gets around their systems of control disruptive. Well, believe me, this is disruptive to time.